Every single time that Donald Trump opens his mouth unscripted, we see what the White House is trying to hide, which is that this guy is not well. A reporter asked Donald Trump, "Are you considering tariffs on China?" Which, by the way, is like the 100th iteration of what the hell is going on with China. Donald Trump's answer, completely and totally incoherent.
Are you considering tariffs on China?
Well, I mean, you read the same papers as I do, but I don't have to read the papers because I'm the one. Right now, as of November 1st, China will have about 155% tariff put on it. And I don't think it's sustainable for them, so I want to be nice to China. But China's been very rough with us over the years because we had presidents that weren't smart from a business standpoint.
So are you going to be doing the China tariffs or not? And I apologize, not that it's my fault that this is an ongoing issue in government. I'm as exhausted by are we doing the China tariffs or not? Is the stock market crashing again because Trump is saying he's doing the China tariffs? Are people's 401ks and retirement accounts collapsing again because Donald Trump is issuing belligerent and unhinged threats? And does he even understand what it is that he is doing? Now, in a real moment of sort of authoritarian terror, Trump was asked by a reporter, "Are you just kind of like, I'll send the National Guard wherever the hell I want?" And Trump goes, yeah, I think so.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please.
an appeals court recently ruled that you can send the National Guard in Portland, Oregon. Do you feel unfettered to send the National Guard into whatever city you want now?
Well, I guess so. That was the decision that I can send the National Guard if I see problems. I looked at Portland over the weekend. The place is burning down, just burning down. We weren't there. We didn't spend much time there because we were waiting for that decision. But the court, maybe that influenced the court. But you look at a place like Portland, it's ridiculous when they say that there's no problem. The place was on fire over the weekend.
This is not true.
But we won the case in Court of Appeals. I think it was the Ninth Circuit, so that's pretty good. And a very strong opinion that we have the right to use the National Guard. You would think that would be common sense. We have the right to use the National Guard to put out trouble. Well,
of course, it's not quite so simple because you're not allowed to use federal law enforcement to do domestic, federal military rather, to do domestic law enforcement. We know about that. That's been the center of the entire legal battle. Now, just as a matter of correction, Portland was not on fire. But I guess in Trump's head, it's 2020. Every Democratic city is some kind of a war zone. And this is what happens when you live in a Fox News highlight reel that they haven't updated the B-roll on for 5 years. Trump was asked about Ukraine and Russia. My sense is he's given up. He just goes, doesn't really affect us. Well, then why was this such a high priority for years that you were going to solve right away?
On Ukraine, do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is Putin asking for? Do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is Putin asking for?
I do. It's a vicious war. It doesn't really affect us.
On Ukraine.
Yeah, it's completely vicious. Not really affecting my day-to-day. I still get driven around in a bulletproof car, so I'm not going to be very worried about it. Wasn't this one of the many wars Trump was solving? Now it's like, doesn't really make a difference. Trump confusedly cagey about prices, arguing that he has brought down prices, but by an amount he's not yet ready to say out loud.
I tell the story of my last administration. My 4th year, I was so honored because I brought drug prices down. The first time in 28 years, prices were brought down by a certain amount. I'll tell you what the amount was in a second, but by a certain amount. And so at the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I actually brought them down. First time in 28 years that happened.
Yes, Trump is going to at some point tell us what the amount is. And I'm guessing that the numbers aren't going to make any sense, and they don't. Here is Donald Trump's arithmetic confusion. He might as well just say, I brought prices down by a gazillion.
That's all I say. But I was proud because first time it ever happened. And now I'm bringing prices down 600%, 700%, 900%, 200%.
I brought prices down 11 billion%. This is why the Donald Trump press conference represents such a risk, and why a lot of people around him don't like him doing it. And then maybe this is like my favorite part of the entire thing. Remember those Doge dividends where supposedly Elon Musk's Doge was finding so much waste, fraud, and abuse, although they've still not prosecuted a single person for all of the fraud, which is a crime, by the way. They were finding so much waste, fraud, and abuse that they were going to send out Doge dividends. Well, that came and went, didn't happen, big surprise. Now Trump is saying we might start distributing checks with tariff money, but there's a little sick irony in this.
Rich country again. We'll start paying off debt. We'll do a lot of things. We'll probably make a distribution out of some of the tariff money. I think we're going to make a distribution over the next fairly short period of time to people because we took in so much money from the tariffs, just European Union, $650 billion.
Guys, this is the redistribution of wealth that Republicans claim to be against. The tariffs are import taxes paid by Americans. American companies pay the import taxes, and then they raise prices to consumers. You pay the tariffs. I pay the tariffs. So what Donald Trump is saying here, which, by the way, he's not going to do. If I were a betting man, I don't think he does any dividend distribution from the tariffs. Give me a break. He is collecting tariff money from Americans, and then he's going to redistribute the tariff money in a way that they say is socialism and shouldn't be done, that they say is communism and shouldn't be done. This is a scam that a lot of strong men like to run. You break the economy, and then you buy loyalty with the illusion of being generous. I screwed it up. The reason I'm even talking about sending people money is because these tariffs are screwing up the economy. But I am the conduit to prosperity. I am the conduit to generosity, and I will distribute a little bit of money to the peons. In Russia, it's oil checks. In Venezuela, it's food boxes that sometimes have the leader's face on them. And so here, it's going to be tariff redistributions. It's the same con that authoritarians love to run. Trump has run cons his whole life. Trump water and Trump steaks and whatever else. And now the con is tariffs, which I'm going to then redistribute. The real patriots are finally going to get paid. So they talked about it with the Doge dividend. We were going to get profits from all of the savings from Doge, and that never happened. It's never happening, but people want to believe it. And Trump's running the exact same play. He is selling hope to the desperate. He screws people and then says, I'm going to bail you out. He screwed the farmers in the first term and bailed them out to a smaller degree than they were screwed. He's screwing them this term, and he says he's going to bail them out. And now he says, oh, the blanket tariffs, don't worry. We're going to start sending cash out. The goal is a classic authoritarian goal. Build a population that comes to believe you are the only person who can save them. Donald Trump has already packed his second-term cabinet with loyalists. He's threatened deportation as political punishment. He's expanded executive authority in ways we have not seen in modern history. These are real changes that are happening right now. And what's even more alarming is that a lot of the media is either glossing over the worst of it or they're reframing it so it all sounds a little more palatable. And that is why I use Ground News. This is a news comparison tool. Doesn't just feed you headlines. It shows you here's how different outlets, left, right, center, are covering the same story. And this is one of the few tools I know of that can really help you detect the political spin, the bias, catch stories that your usual sources might downplay or not cover at all, on everything from immigration policy to economic shifts. If you want to get a bigger picture, a broader picture of what's being reported, Ground News is an invaluable source to keep you informed. And Ground News is offering my audience 40% off their top tier Vantage plan. You'll only pay $5 a month. Go to ground.news/Pakman or enter the code Pakman in the app to get started. The link is in the description.